Evening, everybody. Welcome to the Block 9 podcast with myself, Mike the Crazy Pilgrim. Also, we've got Carl on and Andy the Grumpy Loyal. As usual, we've not got Sam tonight. Sam hasn't been well yesterday, and I don't believe he's up for coming on today. If he does join in later on, we shall add him in. So it's just the three of us that you've got to contend with tonight. But anyway, thank you to those that are live with us right now. So yeah, yesterday's game, well. So, after a diabolical start against Sheffield Wednesday to start the season off on Sunday, which I will add today, they also lost 4-0 to Sunderland. So their first away campaign equally not very good. And then obviously we turned it around on Wednesday night for those of us that went to the Carabao Cup. I know Carl, Andy and myself did. We saw some improvements there, which is exactly what we needed and wanted to see, after the conversations Rooney said were had, after Sunday's game. And then, but the big one really was the league game this weekend on Saturday against Hull. And oh my days, didn't we have start off, just went for it. Brilliant attacking play. Really good to see. It's what we want, what every fan wants at home. But I must admit, I was elated, full of adrenaline, from the get-go, but a little bit at the end just felt, do you know what, we should have taken all 3 points. And so a bit of a shame. Carl, what was your initial thoughts on that game on Saturday?
Yeah, like as I said, kind of night and day difference, wasn't it, from last Sunday? Every player obviously played really poorly last week, so it was a big change to see, nearly every member of that squad and team that even came off the bench putting in a really good performance and a good shift. Obviously, we saw more attacking football. Obviously, we didn't have any of that last week. We looked really bright going forward. It was a shame we didn't have enough in the tank to get the 3 points. I think we might have just edged it, possession-wise and obviously shots on target. We obviously got a lot more than we did last weekend again, which was good to see. And really happy with the point. Gets us off the mark, gets us off the bottom, which is important in the early stage of the season. And really,
we are 4 from bottom overall.
4 from bottom, yeah.
And Andy, I think everybody from all the sort of social comments and stuff, did feel the same, didn't they? It was like, do you know what? Breath of fresh air. Great to see the potential of Rooney's team. It was just such a shame, wasn't it, to concede that? And to be fair to that Coyle, he worked that goal for himself. What's your thoughts, Andy?
Do you know what, mate? It took me back to Schumacher. The only part of last season when Schumacher was our manager. And we were playing that sort of fast-flowing, attacking football, front to back, back to front, sorry. And it looked really, really good. We looked sharp in places. Our attacking, we were in their faces. We were more like the Argyle of old, when Schumacher was here. So there was a lot of sort of similarities to that, if you like. Can't disagree with their goal. I thought their goal was superb. Our goal was well worked as well. And the ball coming into Sissoko great turn and hit it to the roof of the net. Silly booking, really, but good goal. We'll take it away from the first goal for the club. Hopefully not the last. I was really impressed with our play yesterday. We lost our shape a little bit when we took the more creative players up. When we took Sissoko off, we bought on Wayne and people like that. And I looked at Wayne yesterday. He didn't do very much. Callum Wright didn't do much yesterday. It's disappointing towards the latter end where we sort of held on for a little bit because I thought Bolton was going to go and nick one towards the end there. But other than that, I thought it was a great improvement on Sunday, obviously. Just seeing the boys passing the ball around a bit and looking more confident. And they looked like a team. I mean, Whittaker, he stepped up as well. And he looked really good on Saturday. I just thought he was getting back to his best. He's chasing back, and he might have had a rocket, to be fair, from the Sheffield Wednesday game. But in saying that, he did really well yesterday, as did all the players.
The whole squad
I couldn't put anyone wrong yesterday. Sorry, Carl, didn't miss that, mate.
I said I think they all had rockets after last Sunday.
Yeah.
Which showed.
Yeah,
but that's what you needed. I think you needed that rocket to get them going again, to get the ball forward faster. I disagree with the fans getting on Hazard's back at the end. I was a bit frustrated that he didn't get the ball forward in the last minute there. We could have gone forward and scored another goal, maybe not.
Well,
for the fans to get him back for that is a bit out of order. I mean, I'd rather he kept the ball and we got something from the game than him being rushed and kick the ball to someone for them to go on and score and pinch a winner themselves. So, yeah, it's one of them, really, isn't it? His distribution could be quicker, but you can't sort of knock him in the last minute.
Yeah, we'll go through some of the players because I thought there was a lot of... You're going to have to mute yourself, Andy. The rebound is driving me nuts. So we'll go through a number of the players' performances. But and Country Gaming, yes, I've just seen your message. So yes, we are keen to do more with this and would like a stream ID so we can also stream across multi-platform. So thank you for getting in touch. That's the Carl you'll know from stuff I've talked about in our WhatsApp group on, sort of community stuff. So pick that up post, but thank you for that. So just looking at the lineup. So we had Hazard in goal. Obviously, we haven't bought in another goalkeeper. That's going to happen, I think, early part of this week. You know, there's a couple of rumours with the Baxter one still driving. He didn't supposedly play over the weekend, from what someone said to me. Also, there's a Blackpool keeper in the lineup, so there's a few options there. Guys, look, for those that are requesting, we just want to summarise the game initially amongst the three of us. Carl and Andy will respond to comments where they can. And then, absolutely, anybody who wants to come in and give their thoughts, whether you're an Argyle fan or from another club, we'll welcome that. But in the back line, we had Edwards, Gibson, Galloway and Mumba. I think that was probably a good choice. I think sort of Sukes did a great account of himself, brand new player into the squad. So wasn't too disheartened that he didn't start. I think that was a really strong back four there with then Randall and Forshaw in midfield. Forshaw, who was one of my star men in the game. Mumba actually was my man of the match. And then we had Whittaker, Bundu and Sissoko with Hardy in front. So sort of maybe a 4-2-3-1 style formation. I think that was as strong as a lineup, Carl, wasn't it, that we probably would have hoped for?
I think the selection he got pretty much spot on. I probably wouldn't have gone for Bundu in the number 10 role. But at the minute, we don't really have many options for that, do we? Obviously, Callum Wright's still here. He's kind of flattered to deceive in that position. I don't think moving Whittaker inside is going to do him any favours either. So, I mean, I thought Bundu did okay in that role, but I don't think going forward that's best place to put him. Obviously, I think he got the defence spot on. It's a shame not to see Such in there, but again, it's going to be hard to drop either Gibson or Galloway because they're both top defenders. It just shows we've got a bit of strength and depth there now, which we didn't have there last season. And there's always an option to bring Such into midfield as well because he has played there before.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
So that could be an option going forward, maybe next to Randall, maybe next Saturday at QPR we could look at that. Or carry on with Forshaw depending on his fitness. Obviously, we don't want to push him every week because he will start breaking down otherwise as well. So, and something that Sam said on the Argyle Life podcast about maybe moving JB into a number 10 role, which I quite like the idea of. I think obviously that game he had away at Middlesbrough when he played up near the front, he was really impressive. So maybe that could work in the number 10 role. He's definitely got.
Wasn't he in that though yesterday, Carl? Because a few people on the social platforms sort of felt that he was playing too much.
He did look a bit more forward when he did come on. So potentially he could have went into that role yesterday. He did look more forward than usual. So I reckon that could be an option going forward next weekend over Bundu in that role. Yeah, I thought Hardy was his usual hard work himself, and it's also nice to see Whittaker chasing balls down and looking more interested in closing down players, which he doesn't really tend to do a lot of the time. So it's nice to see him giving a bit of effort for that as well. So
it's a bit like Andy said, wasn't it? Everybody seemed to have a rocket up their backside.
I think that's what was needed after last weekend, and I think it showed. They listened to Wayne and they did put in a performance.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that for me. I mean, you're right about Bundu. One of the things I noted in the game was that his final pass, his execution, at the end was was a bit off, which sort of stunted a few of our chances going forward, which was a shame. That's for sure. I'm going to throw a question to you, Andy, on Forshaw. For me, in that lineup, a lot of people don't always necessarily agree with him in games, but actually when you watch him, I think he commands a midfield. He's very calm on the ball. He's very composed. He doesn't worry if a player's on him. He looks for the right pass. He made a couple of mistakes, I noted, but what player doesn't? But I thought he was quite pivotal in Sissoko and Whittaker and driving that sort of ball forward. What was your thoughts on that formation?
Yeah, good formation. I quite like 4-4-2. It was quite attack-minded. I didn't think Forshaw had as good a game as he did on Wednesday yesterday, to be fair. But he did play a big role in a lot of the sort of creativity in the midfield, so give him that. We could have seen more, really, from our defence, in some areas. I just think we looked a bit shaky at times, not all the time, because we dealt with it quite well. But when the ball was going back to Hazard, and there was always that panic stations that we were going to lose the ball back there. I thought Mumba sort of pushed forward too much and didn't drop back like he used to. Edwards was amazing. Joe Edwards was amazing. The front two, or the front pair, and I thought were okay. Bundu and Hardy in the first half. I thought Hardy ran his socks off again. He was brilliant. All he needed was a goal. Bundu was not as effective as he was on Wednesday. It was a good formation. I like the formation. Guys, I've noticed some comments in there.
Yeah, block Tony.
Yeah, we need to. Tony Oliveira, just go away, mate. We don't need to talk about that. We've got people from all clubs in here. Torquay fan. If you're a Torquay fan, that's fine. It's great. Let him come in and talk.
I like Carl, just also, Andy, I like Carl correcting Russell's and Forshaw spelling.
Yeah. Lucas, I'm not sure, because it's a different live, mate. We could let him in, Mike, for a little while, because he's an Argyle fan.
Look, we'll bring some in towards the end of the summary. Yeah.
So we're going to do a little bit of summary first, Lucas, and then we'll get you on a bit nearer the end, mate, if that's okay.
Andy, what did you think of what did you think of the subs? Because some people sort of felt that they killed off the game. I felt to a degree Argyle were really tiring at the end and Hull just seemed to hold the possession.
Yeah, I thought they were ineffective. They weren't as good subs that I would expect. Isaka, when he came on, he did all right. Callum Wright didn't do much at all. Ben Wayne didn't do much at all, really. I just think we lost our way a little bit. We sat back and we invited Hull onto us. We invited Hull onto us, really. And they were unlucky not to get a second goal, Hull. We looked a little bit shaky towards the end of the game. But, I think the starting 11 we had originally would be my starting 11. I don't know if I'd bring Callum Wright in. I'd probably ship him out on loan. There has been rumoured today that he's going to Lincoln, either on loan or to be bought by Lincoln, which might free up some space for another attacking player in there. Ben Wayne needs to go out and loan somewhere. I like Wayne, but he's not good enough for Championship level, mate. That's my opinion.
That's cool. Sorry to actually keep you all the time. Looking at the subs that we had. So on 64 minutes, Sissoko came on for Isaka. Bundu came off for JB. Forshaw for Wright on 82, along with Hardy and Wayne. That's possibly where it sort of people are referring to. It did sort of kill off our ability going forward. And then 87 minutes, we had Randall come off for Houghton. I felt if I was going to make a change to that lineup for the next game, I know it's an away game, or say next home game, depending on how players fare against QPR, I would actually move Whittaker into the number 10 role, and I'd actually put Zaka on the right, because I just feel that he did enough to start for me as Zaka, and I haven't seen the full post matches because I don't have the Argyle line videos anymore. So Carl will give us, when I ask for it later, Carl, the insight on Rooney's final thoughts. But yeah, Isaka for Bundu and Whittaker moving into that number 10 while we still look for a position. Carl, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it could work, but I think Osaka's more influential on the left with his pace and his trickery. I don't think he's going to get so much of the ball and be able to run at defenders kind of stuck in the middle there as a number 10. I think, like I said, Sam's call of playing JB in there could have some potential.
Marcus.
Again, if you move Whittaker in, I think that's going to be again nullifying his cutting in and shooting with his left foot. I think it's just trial and error and just trying a few players until we get that number 10 through the door, which hopefully happens next week, and then we won't have this discussion ever again.
I think
I'm just getting some messages from my son in WhatsApp about please talk about the Sissoko goal. So it was a great finish from Sissoko, and something that we want to see a lot of him doing this season is getting away that shot. Because I think he got into a number of positions yesterday when he could have let fly, and he didn't. He just wanted to do one more step over or one more taken on a player, and I think he's got the ability to let off a lot earlier and get some goals this season.
Yeah, I think for me that was for Sissoko. I needed to see that. I think he had such, he's bigged up highly by a lot of the fans, and even I was excited by his pre-season. And you never know with players that Argyle get, because we're not out there trying to get players that are commanding big salaries. And obviously he's a loan from Toulouse, I think, is that correct? But what we saw, it was almost, although didn't see it all, but it felt like a carbon copy of Cheltenham in the sense of the attacks that we made, and with Bundu. I know Andy said he felt Bundu didn't do enough. I mean, for me, Bali Mumba even, for me, in my opinion, was man of the match, being on for the whole 90 minutes, and he linked up well with Sissoko as well. And I think the Sissoko goal came from, initially actually off the back of the attack, a counter-attack that Hull had just before. And then it was Whittaker who sort of flicked the ball in, Hardy who brought it down actually from height. And then there was that sort of melee, wasn't there, in the box? And then Sissoko just said, "Leave it to me, lads." Took one touch and stepped with the ball and smacked it very hard into the back of the net. And, so fantastic that he gets off the mark. That was on 52 minutes, that goal. So really, really pleased. And hopefully, like you say, Carl, if there's one of those positions that we need, it is, sort of a creative player in that sort of, attacking and in that creative midfield number 10 role, whatever it is, to sort of bring, that extra pizzazz to it's a wrong word. It really probably is.
That really is the wrong word, considering we're trying to replace that very person since he left for Middlesbrough.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how he's doing. How he's doing at Middlesbrough as well.
He seems to be getting a lot of slack from Borough fans for some strange reason, but obviously Carrick seems to rate him. So he's played in the first couple of games, so obviously the manager's behind him, but he hasn't been getting rave reviews from the Middlesbrough fans, which is slightly strange.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, we would have him back in a heartbeat with open arms, as they say. So, just going on to some other points that I just noted. Oh, if I can get this through, Andy, just to bring you back in. Any changes you would sort of look at making for the next game, noting that we're away to QPR, of course. So, do you think we should stick with a similar attacking line?
Yeah, I'd stick with the same lineup that started yesterday. I thought they looked really good yesterday when they started, and got into their faces a lot. And I don't think they felt comfortable on the ball. If we can play that high press in most of our games, then we're going to cause a lot of teams a lot of problems, because we can be okay at the back, but as a unit going forward, it was quite frightening yesterday, because we were playing some nice football through the middle. Harvey England, welcome, mate. Just a quick reference. Harvey does a great YouTube as well. He's got a great YouTube channel. Goes to a lot of away matches as well. Yeah, good to see you, Harvey. I'm glad you dropped in tonight.
Videos, top work, mate.
And we'll speak to you soon, buddy. So going back to the playing staff. Yeah, keep the same formation, the same players that started on Saturday. I don't know where you'd change it though. If we needed to change it, I'm not sure how QPR did that. I think they drew 2 each, didn't they? Got back into it 2 each. They were 2-0 down, so they fought back and got into it, didn't they?
Yeah, no,
just with it.
Oh, go on. I just noticed a comment on the only lost it now. So yeah, JJ for Bundu, a lot of people are sort of saying, at the end of the day, attacking is the sort of first form of defence, isn't it? If we can hold the midfield and really take it forward, then that will help. But I haven't watched any of QPR's games, so to know where their threats are coming from. Marcus is saying Caleb Roberts looks bigger than last season, and suggests that Azaka should join him in the gym. The only thing you'd say to that is Roberts got injured, although it was in the game. So when Roberts comes back, fit, it'll be interesting to see if he can get back into the squad, for sure. So, but I must admit, I am looking forward to the QPR game. I'll watch that if we can watch it on for the £10 or whatever it is on Argyle TV. I'll watch that. Absolutely.
You might have to go down the Now TV route for £10 as well, couldn't you?
Well, I've got the Sky. If it's on Sky, I've got that. So however I need to watch it, then I'll find it on there. Because Now TV's the sort of same. That's on Sky, yeah. So thanks, Divine Lacey. Evening, by the way. Did see you pop in earlier. So I think, stats. I want to just sort of read out some stats from the game. Care of live score, I might add. So shots on target, 7 to us, 2 to the home team, which is then disappointing because the conversion rate then was far better than ours. Off target, 5 versus Hull 6. Possession, I thought this was interesting, 50-50 in the game overall, which for me, I suppose we created a lot of attacking chances. One of the things we did do, was close down their defence superb. It certainly rattled their keeper and a couple of misplaced passes, one which Edwards, to be fair, I think had a great chance to score from, but just hit it wide. Corners, 6 to us, 3 to Hull. I would say set pieces still seems to need a lot of work. And then, yellow cards, 3 to their 1. Obviously, one of those being Zoko's for taking his shirt off. But that's worth the fine. I'm sure he'll agree. Interestingly, saves, as we were talking about keepers all week since Cooper leaving, 1 save to the 6 that the whole team had to do. And this was my point at the start, really. Sort of the chances in the final third. It was just like that fine-tuning, that finishing, which, gotta hope, that's something Wayne Rooney can bring to the table. Certainly a lot of players seem to say in their interviews they've talked to him a lot about how they can improve their game. But yeah, Carl, it would just seem to be that cutting edge again, didn't it? Which is always was our Achilles heel, even under Schumacher.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a massive. I keep referring back to last weekend. I think we will be doing that for a couple of weeks until it's out of the memory. But it was a massiff difference, night and day difference between last week and yesterday. We seemed a lot more positive. We seemed not afraid to get onto the ball. We wanted to create chances. Whittaker seemed to be kind of warming up a little bit more, getting some more shots away. Some more on target. And generally, I think that's kind of the best we played at home for a little while, even under the kind of the back end of last season, under obviously Foster and Nance and Dewsnip. I think it was a performance that we were kind of used to under kind of Shuey. But yeah, the conversion rate still needs a lot of work. It's only the second game. I'm sure once the games start rolling down or ticking up, after 5 or 6 games, hopefully the players will find their feet and will have an understanding of each other, and hopefully we'll see a few more of these kind of shots kind of hitting the back of the net. But yeah, I think that will come in time. It's still early days yet.
Yeah, no, it is. But I can see a lot of the comments, coming in about sort of, getting a set piece coach in and all that, which just seems so obvious, and yet you just wonder then why we don't have that. I know free kick wise, Rooney sort of complimenting Randall and being better than him. I love that sort of stuff from Rooney. Very humble, but it's like, we've really got to take these chances at the end of the day and make use of them, because it's always been our issue. So, why aren't we dealing with it? So I'm just going to bring into the fray now, sort of open up the chat. Harvey, obviously, as you're on as well, come in and request a chat. I know Lucas has been waiting a while. So Lucas, I shall bring you in to give your say. So let me just do that now, as he's been waiting patiently. Was on with Andy earlier when Andy was doing a session on the game. So, Lucas, can you hear us loud and clear?
Yes, I can.
Hey, so come on, then, mate. What was your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, great game. Great performance with the new manager as well. The fans were great because I think we needed that bit of extra.
Yeah,
First half we were on it, but the second half we put off a little bit. But I think still great game, and it was just great to see that the boys have a great match. We like a big team in the
yeah.
league.
Yeah, so you were effectively what you're saying is that you were sort of pleased that the boys had come out and put in a performance showed that actually, do you know what, that Sunday game was just a blip, and yeah, absolutely right for Rooney. After taking all the back pages of the Sunday papers last week or Monday even this week after the game being on Sunday, but. Sort of not the publicity that Argyle wanted. But yeah, I don't know whether or not he featured on the back pages today. I didn't look at any, but he certainly quietened a few critics, didn't he?
Well, I think if we still had Cooper, I think it would at the last minute when we had that goal kick. I think if we had Cooper still, he would have smashed it up and maybe we could have scored. But yeah.
I think, well,
But I think the keeper,
Go on, mate.
the keeper gets a bit scared when the ball comes towards him and he has to kick it to someone. But when the player's coming in, it frightens me. It is a good kick on him.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll let's pick up on Hazard and Andy, bring you back in as well. Yeah, and Mikey Boy's just joined us as asked about our thoughts on Hazard. One of the things actually I sort of mentioned today is I've not noticed him ever properly really throw the ball out. Goalkeeping used to be where I always played, and I literally didn't play for anything much and just matches with mates. But I always loved playing in goal. But there's no urgency in throwing. His kicking, is hesitant, and that could be what they've told him to do. Someone did note on another channel earlier on about actually, he also slowed the game down a bit when Argyle, in a positive way, when Argyle needed it to slow down, but. I've got no issues with Hazard at all, but I just think there is that little bit of extra quality that we need in a keeper that can distribute it out quickly, whether it's throwing or kicking. Feel confident that if you're a defender and you're passing it back, that he isn't going to make you nervous, that he's going to sort of suddenly lose the ball. Andy, you touched upon it briefly earlier, but where are you sitting on the fence with Hazard? Or where is it?
His distribution isn't brilliant. It was better yesterday, absolutely better yesterday. I mean, he made a howler against Cheltenham, didn't he? Passed the ball to one of their players. But, I mean, yesterday his distribution was quite good. His pass on from the back was good. He's a bit slow. I like him to get the ball upfield quicker. But then, saying that, the players have got to be up there quicker, haven't they? And they're all off their legs. They just run for 90-odd minutes. And it's like... You expected him to get up for another long ball. Playing from the back, he's a lot more confident. I thought yesterday, playing from the back and playing with the back four, so that was okay. I'm still on the fence with him a bit because I don't think he's as good as Coops. Coops was exceptional. I thought, shot stopper. He did all the right stuff. He distributed the ball. He kicked the ball. Virtually, to Hardy, last, one of the games last season, and Hardy just ran on and scored, and it was just like, he's got that. He had that vision, and he commanded his area. I don't think Hazard commanded his area.
No,
Harvey, welcome. Good to see you, mate.
Yes. I was just going to say, Harvey, give us your thoughts on Hazard and also the game yesterday.
So obviously I'm a goalkeeper myself. I've seen the Hazard as a completely different perspective from everyone else. I think, like you said just now, him slowing the game down, I think it worked in our favour. And I think especially towards that end, that last half a minute that we had, him slowing the game right down. We was under pressure for that previous 5 minutes or so, and slowing it down, killing the game off, taking a point, which all of our fans would have took before kick-off, where it was a positive. But going on to the game as a whole, I was very impressed. I was very impressed with the high pressing, the fast flowing football. It was definitely a shock from travelling up on Sunday and watching it on Sunday. But I think it was a great reaction. I was impressed with Whittaker as well, because Whittaker on last Sunday didn't seem interested.
Not disinterested yet.
And see him making runs, causing trouble. I was very impressed with it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those with Whittaker where even against Cheltenham, if you went to that game, when he came on as a sub, then he was closing down all the players. So he looked fired up for it as well. Just he got into a couple of really good places to shoot, didn't he? And it just was off the ball with him. But you'd rather he gets those and just sort of tightens them up than not get any chances at all.
Yeah, 100%. My dad mentioned something to me as well, which makes a great valid point. Obviously, all this talk around his head of 10+ million of all this transfer talk, it's gonna have an effect onto him. It's gonna be on his mind when he's playing. It's the pressure. And he's still a young lad, so it's a lot of pressure to take onto a field and have that expectation to perform well. But yeah, I'm hoping Rooney can get the best out of him.
Yeah, and Wilfo, thanks for the gifts. Swilly King, good to see you in. Yeah, man, love your posts every day. I think is this the difference though with Whittaker, and I've said it on a lot of the sessions that we've done, is I didn't think he would go at the end of the year. I didn't think, for me, if I was a Premier League scout, I'm not seeing enough, if I'm honest, throughout the whole season. And I think that's where, he's just really got to try and get into the game a bit more, and sort of put that stamp on the game that he did at the start of last season, because the way that we saw Rooney's style of play, which clearly is what he wants on, yesterday, is perfect for someone like Whittaker, isn't it?
The biggest problem with Morgs is obviously he's a massive confidence player, isn't he? I think as soon as he gets that first goal and starts putting in regular performances, I think we'll see the old Morgan return. If he kind of if he starts missing shots, not getting the performances, his head kind of drops. And I think we started to see a bit of that yesterday with his closing down in the high press, him shooting more. He looked a little bit more happy, and I think once his performances come and the goals start racking in for him, I think we'll see the best of Morgan again. But yeah, it's all down to confidence with him. Always has been.
Yeah, just Lucas, I just need to let someone else in for the minute. So appreciate you coming in and giving your view. So I'm just going to make some space. Let me just do that quickly as I bring, because
thanks, Lucas, mate.
Blaz, who has followed us as well, like Marcus, for a while, and that was on with Andy. So yeah, Blaz, give us your views then, mate.
I'd say it was definitely 2 points drop. We could have won that game easily.
Yeah.
I feel like we should have brought Zach on a bit earlier, but not for Sissoko. I think we should have come on for Bundo, because Sissoko was our best player, one of our best players throughout the half.
Yeah, no, good. Cool, big man. There's I'm not preference in that sense. Blaz has joined us on a lot of sessions and was keen at the start to come in. So, yeah, I'll give you a shout to come on in a minute. It's good that we got quite a few in.
I agree with Whittaker looking a lot more like himself, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think hopefully we need to get at least 2-3 sign-ins. I think we need to get a number 10 of Prince that player.
Yeah. At
least one goalkeeper, and maybe another fullback or a midfielder.
Yeah.
That's all. We should send Callum Wright and Ben Wayne out on the loan to League One.
Yeah, to be fair, I want to just say actually on Callum Wright that he he's had he sort of did a right in pre-season, and actually I think he sort of came into that game where we were probably sort of burning out a little bit, running out of energy, if that's probably fair to say, and Hull were just sort of getting the ball. It was frustrating when those 4 minutes went up. It was just all Hull down our end. So yeah, I wouldn't discredit Wright too soon. Carl, what's your thoughts on Wright? Would you loan him out, or would you stick with him?
It all depends if we can get that player in to replace him. If we can't manage to get number 10 in, then we'll just have to keep him at least until January and see, kind of look at our options then. If we can bring someone in January, if we can't do it next week. But yeah, I'll be quite happy to see him go if we can get a decent fee for him. I mean, there's been a rumoured fee of kind of 400-500k, which is a half decent fee for him. But we need to get his replacement in for us to move him on, really.
Yeah, I mean, what's also forgotten sometimes with Callum Wright is one of Argyle's highest paid players on 9 or 10 grand a week. So, you sort of, you've got to consider that in terms of, is Rooney seeing enough from me? And, at least he's not stuck at home walking his dog, as he was.
No, he did a lot of that with Foster, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's another player that's just come to my mind, I can't think, but just someone else in the comments was saying about, Ben Wayne, and getting a lot of stick as well. And yeah, I just think, getting the rebound off the free kick and that, the other night, it was like, that was good. He was in the right place there, but he's just not in the right places during the game when needed. So I think it would be good to loan him out. Andy, you want to come back in and give your thoughts on Wright and Ben Wayne?
Yeah, Callum Wright. I've said before, and I'll say it again. I like Callum Wright a lot. I think that sort of last season he wasn't given enough time. The season before under Schumacher, he was outstanding. I thought, and he plays a big part in us, winning that championship. And Wayne, I'm just saying in the comments they need minutes. They're not going to get minutes in this team because I just think that they're just not used to this league. The championship's a fast and furious place. When you look at Callum Wright coming from Cheltenham and not really knowing anything about the championship, playing bit parts last season in the championship, and then you've got Ben Wayne, who's he's from New Zealand, and he's only a known sort of League One. Again, coming to the championship's a big step up for him. He's good at international level, but as a player, he doesn't give me that. He doesn't give as much as Hardy gives. I'd like to see him do a bit more and do a bit more running and scoring a few more goals. I think we seen him last season 1-on-1 with the keepers, and he's just wasted shots and hit them straight at the keeper. So I think he's a confidence player, Wayne, and he needs a goal. To kickstart his season. So, but then if you put Wayne on the side, what happens with Hardy? You can't have the both there. He might be good to come on, or maybe start with Wayne and bring Hardy on. I don't know, but I don't think he's championship level, to be fair, and that's not being harsh to the player. So I like the player as well.
No, he's a progress player. So Argyle did sign him on the basis of developing him as a player. If I recall correctly. Carl, what were you going to say? Sorry, Matt, Andy.
Yeah, I should have said about Wayne at the end of the Callum Wright comment, but he kind of reminds me a bit like Luke Jeffcott when he was here. He kind of needs the ball played right at him in the box for him to finish. And I think some of his finishes in League One were kind of the fox in the box. And we don't seem to play like that with him. Because obviously we like to get in balls in behind, obviously with Hardy and potentially TJ when he's fit as well. So I can't see where he fits in. Obviously we all know he needs a League One or a League Two loan move to build up confidence, get minutes and some goals for his confidence. I think in the long run, he's not ever really going to be a championship striker, if I'm honest. It's the same going back to Callum Wright. He's not championship quality, and he needs to move on. I don't think a loan's going to be any good for us because he's not going to come back and get into the team, especially if we sign his replacement anyway. So in the long run, they both need to move on. If we can get a decent fee for obviously Wright. And potentially Wayne one day, but I think Wayne needs a loan first just to see how he gets on. Saxon early as well, that's a bit of a strange one. He seemed to be fit throughout pre-season and then hasn't featured, so...
Yeah, just thinking that.
I didn't want to see a bit of him this season. And he did show glimpses when he was called on in League One. Before he had his injury, he did look promising. So again, I would loan him out if the chance comes.
Yeah, I think Mikey Boynett agrees with you. Harvey, have you heard anything on Saxon early? Because that has gone a bit quiet. So we're looking to loan him out. Is he injured? And actually, Marcus makes a good point, which I'll throw at you as well in terms of, do we need an under 21 squad? I'll tell you something that I used to do in the old championship is I used to go to the reserve games. And that was always brilliant because you could see, rest his soul, used to stand up with Gordon Sparks and Chris Errington, but you used to see then these like Isaacas, these Roberts and all that sort of stuff, come up, and anybody out of the first team had a chance to sort of get some minutes. So, and Marcus has said every other championship team does that. So Harvey, a couple of points there. What's your thoughts?
I don't know. I think we could definitely benefit a lot out of reserve games. I think especially for players Azaka, like Caleb Roberts when he's back from injury, possibly even Saxon early. For players, it just keeps them up and running, And in a league like this, where a team like ours, like Argyle, we haven't really got the squad depth to play the same 11 week in, week out. It's going to have to be rotation. And I think it's about finding that quality. I think, it's still going to take the whole of this season possibly to find our feet and find, how we want to build as a club. But I think definitely, we could benefit hugely off reserve games. But with a Saxon early situation, I think it's definitely got to be a lone move. I think it's definitely got to be something going on there, because you've got to feel for him as a player. He's not been fortunate with his fitness. He's been in and out of injury and stuff, and it's not really nice to see as a football fan. You just want players to be playing and enjoying themselves. That's the main part of it. It's football. You got to be playing.
If I could just butt in on the reserve thing, Mike. Obviously, they've said in fans forums before that obviously reserve leagues would never be a thing ever again, because the clubs would want them to play men's football. So I think the loan system is an option for the young lads to go out and play men's football, and having the odd reserve game against younger opposition is not really going to do them any good. I think that's why the loan system suits us, is sending them out on loan, even to Plymouth Parkway, have proper men's football, which will benefit them more than any reserve league would ever do. The times have changed now.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. It's just trying to find ways, isn't it, of getting those players involved. Yeah. I've just brought Mikey Boy and the Cool Big Man in, and Mikey was ahead of you, Cool Big Man, in the request. Sorry, but you're both in. I've expanded it now to 6 people, so we can have in here. So, Mikey, do you want to give us your thoughts on the game and Argyle at the moment?
Yeah, obviously, yesterday was improvement on Sunday. It's good, we got a point under Rooney, with all the stick. It kind of takes the pressure off him a little bit, and for us to have a go at them. Yeah. I think the midfield was much better yesterday. I felt like Randall was a massive influence. He got stuck in. He was knocking the ball around. He had a massive thing. Was a little bit surprised there was no Tijani on the bench. I felt like we could have.
What was he? No.
I felt like we could have done with him. We brought JB on, and he kind of seemed to go up front with Hardy. I felt like we could have done with his presence up front.
But he had a knock. Carl was just saying, Mikey, that he had a knock. That's why he wasn't.
He's injured.
Oh, right. Yeah. So eventually, we could have him, but it's an improvement. Like we said, we look much better going forward. Happy that Sissoko got a goal. Hopefully, that gives him a little bit of confidence, and he can push on from there, because he's looked brilliant throughout pre-season. And just it's the whole Hazard issue. He looked much better yesterday, but my thing with Hazard that I've thinking is just maybe it's because Cooper set the level so high. We used to that, but for a massive keeper 6'6", whatever he is, he just doesn't seem to command his area enough. And my only frustration as well at times is a ball will come across and he'll punch the ball, and even then it's not really a strong punch. And he could kind of do with it at times coming out and catching the ball to release the pressure in defence.
On that point, actually, Harvey, as a goalkeeper, do you want to I could see one instance where he punched it, where even just with my limited goalkeeping knowledge, I was you wouldn't catch that in that area for fear of landing on the floor and dropping the ball. So, what's your thoughts on his punching over his catching?
Personally, myself, I'm just barely 6 foot. So when it comes to claiming balls, I always find that I remember Luke McCormick once told me. He said to me that if a ball's coming over, if your first reaction is that you don't think you're going to catch it, is punch it, because as soon as you leave yourself in that doubt, you punch it, and then you have that time then to reset. So I personally myself, I've had no real issues in me seeing it. I feel like if the only person that he can answer to is himself. I feel like if he thinks himself he can't catch it, or he's not able to get there with the bodies around, I think that as long as he knows, it's good enough. But I feel like there's definitely been multiple situations where players and stuff where people think they can catch it and they've punched it. But
I must admit, actually, Harvey, this is going back now to the Larry O. McCormick days. One of the things that was always to me was evident, if I've recalled my memories correctly, is that even though Laria was taller, he seemed to flap more in the air, whereas McCormick did seem to command more of the air. And just to add a note, obviously McCormick did get player of the match in his Parkway game, was on Saturday. So I've seen a few calls for him to come back.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that was a sneeze call, big man, to want to try and come in, but you can have your piece if you want to come in and give us your thoughts, Naomi.
What on earth?
Yeah, you're always going to have a joker in there, but that's fine. Unless he's...
That's all right, mate.
Say again?
Can I add a few more points quick?
Yeah, go on, Blaz, yeah, no.
I feel like for QPR, I think we should drop Bundu and bring in Azaka, because of Azaka, he's impressed me so far this season. I feel like it'll be good to start him. With Bundu, he has been good, but not as good.
So what would you do with the lineup, though? Where would you pit? I said earlier about bringing Whittaker into the 10 position and Azaka on the right.
I would try...
which is not necessarily his favourite side, I believe.
I would try put Azaka just behind Hardy.
Yeah.
Would be a good idea.
So having a bit forward. Yeah. Yeah, he's he's good down that. I think he is very adaptable. And to be fair, actually, if we remember, Rooney has actually said himself. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe swap Izaka for Bundu. He has said that he thinks Izaka in that fans one could be our Finazaz our creative number 10. So can't forget that. Andy, just bring you back in as well. Thoughts on then getting Azaka in over Bundu?
Good quick fee, isn't he? That sort of Wednesday night when he dribbled into the box, he just ran at players and they didn't know how to handle him. And they're either going to bring him down in the box, or he's going to get free kicks outside the box, or he's going to go in and score or set someone up. So he's a real threat. He's got a lot of pace, very quick, a bit like Mumba. Mumba's sort of quite low to the ground. His low sense of gravity is really good. And Isaka's got that sort of skill inside to him as well, where he can keep the ball at his feet for quite a while. He can give the ball away sometimes, but, generally, 9 times out of 10, he's pretty good at going forward. And he's an unknown entity, isn't he? So if Rooney believes in him, then, not a lot of teams are going to know about Isaka. They've done he did their homework, sure, but not a lot of teams are going to know about him. So they wouldn't know what to expect from him. So I'd give him a chance. Bundu. Yeah, I like Bundu. He could offer more, Bundu, I think, for me. But yeah, Saka, I agree with Blaz. Saka could be... Sorry, what were you going to say, Mike?
Yeah, sorry, Alan. I was just going to say, I think the only thing with Bundu potentially on Saturday is I might just add that sort of muscle in the field for an away game.
Possible, yeah. But, saying that, Isaka, as I said, he's an unknown entity, people don't know anything about him. So if he's going to go and run at players, what keep you going to think about that? Who's this kid, running at me? And, maybe bring Bundu on for the last sort of, 20 minutes or so. I think Bundu's got a role to play, but I just don't think, as a starter, he's not a starter for me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, sorry, that echo, I can hear my delay. It takes a couple of seconds, doesn't it? Mikey boy, anything else on your points that you wanted to add?
Not entirely. Like I said, it's like I think Isaka definitely deserves a chance at some point. It's just a little bit like with him going straight in the starting 11. I think it's just a little bit difficult at the minute because we're still so early on the season as well. Obviously, it was good. Like we got a point yesterday, but it's still like more of a thing. Like you kind of go to QPR and you think if we lose, people obviously are then going to be like looking at Stoke and like other games going, we need points. And it is a little bit of a tall ass to throw like Freddie in the starting like 11, like especially in the striker position. Like even that, like I find like the last few seasons, people like, especially with like players like Hardy, they get very frustrated because as a striker they just expect goals from him. Whereas like they don't see his actual all-round like work ethic.
Yeah, he's off
like
the ball.
At the end of the day, you put in a ball behind him to Hardy, you know that he's going to run onto it.
Yeah,
so
Hardy
it's a little bit of a tough one, really. And then
Hardy, and then it's like
we're like
Hardy's work rate. Mate. Hardy's work rate and stamina has got to be one of the best in the squad.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, he's come all the way with us from like League Two since like loan move from Blackpool, where he turned up like permanently. So he's like come a long way. And then it's like obviously we're loaning players like Wayne and Callum Wright out. It's like I do agree. Eventually, they need minutes. But I said like earlier in the comments, I remember obviously last season, obviously we got players like TJ and Isaka now, but like last season, like there was like twice where both Hardy and Bundu got injured, and obviously we only had Wayne left.
Yeah,
I think it's just as well that other thing you look at and you think, do we have like the squad depth to like loan players out? Yeah, I feel like we need to get a few more people back in to like cover those positions before we look at loaning a few players out.
Yeah, I think absolutely. Don't disagree. It's a good point. We got to make sure we got cover there. You know, we were really thin on the ground. When Hardy got injured last season, and it was scraping that barrel, wasn't it? And actually, someone asked the question earlier, and I didn't bring it up, but. Sissoko, not fully match fit. I mean, any reason, Wayne took him off? Harvey, what's your thoughts on that? With Sissoko coming off on 60 or whatever it was?
I don't know. Sorry, I'm going to have to go after this, but I'll explain my thoughts. I feel like it's not fitness. I feel it could be a couple of things. I feel like it could be safety of the player. I feel like as the games go on, because of his good footwork, because of his flair about him, I feel like as games go on, players getting tired, there's going to be more likely to just sit into him and clamp him, which could risk injury. I think it possibly could be to give Isaka some legs. I feel like it's been an argument point for me, especially for Whittaker to stay on and Sissoko to come off. I think possibly definitely at Sheffield Wednesday it was more of a case of we would have preferred Sissoko to stay on and Whittaker to go off, but I'm not too sure. It could possibly be fitness, but it could be down to safety of the player. It could be to giving
2 seconds, Wilford. Yeah.
Sorry, it could be giving safety to the player, game time for other players, but I guess you don't know. But yeah, I'm going to have to shoot off. Thank you for having me on.
Pleasure, mate.
Thank you for having me on. I'll be around for the next couple as well if you're live and stuff. Hopefully to be on soon.
Harvey, give you
Have a good one.
YouTube channel a shout.
Yeah, take care, Harvey. Good to see you, mate.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just my name. It's just my name. I do vlogs home and away. I've done all the games last year apart from Watford. I'll be doing it this year. So if you want to see my side of it, I've got a clear review in every video. So yeah, if you want to see my side of things, it's just my name and whatnot, and you'll be able to find it on YouTube.
Yeah, and you do post it, I think, on TikTok, because that's the one I saw earlier on today. Am I right in saying?
My TikTok is just for a laugh. I think the video I got done on there is a football related one, but yeah. Thank you for having me on, guys.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Pleasure. Come on anytime.
Go easy, mate.
Thank you.
Yeah, so go on then, Wilfo. What's your thoughts, mate?
I live like near Plymouth, and I was just wondering. I don't support. I don't actually support a football team, but I was just wondering because literally I come from a family that don't even support football. I was just wondering what reasons could you give me why I should start supporting Plymouth Argyle?
Oh, good question.
Go on then, Carl, as you muttered your response.
I don't even know where to start with that. I mean, if you're not a football fan, where do you begin? I suppose where you begin is just coming to a game and just seeing if you like it, to be fair.
That's true. It's a nice looking stadium, to be honest. I've seen it.
It's improved a lot over the years. So I think if you're close to Plymouth, get yourself down for a game and take it from there, mate.
Yeah. All right. Cheers. I much prefer Plymouth to Torquay United or Exeter City, to be honest.
Well, that's the right. So what made you join in the live chat out of interest then, Wilfo?
Literally, I just saw you. I saw you all talking about Plymouth. I was scrolling through TikTok live, and I was just wondering, I've been wondering about this for a few weeks, and I just wanted to get into football, so. Probably.
If you come in, if when we go live after the game, and sometimes even midweek, we might just come on for another general chat about football. Then join in. But yeah, I mean, appreciate you coming on, mate. In my response to that, I've got an 11-year-old and a 5-year-old. My boy who's 11 I took him to some games when he was about 5, and he just sort of stayed on his phone. Wasn't interested at all. took him and his sister and the wife to a game, first game as a family on Wednesday in the Carabao Cup, and actually got. I mean, it definitely helps if you go to a game that's boring and rubbish. If you'd gone to the Sheffield Wednesday game, you probably would like, don't ever bring me again. You know, that's the sort of ups and downs of supporting a club like Argyle. But yeah, look, it's a community club, it's a family club. It's run very sensibly. Some people don't ideally like that because they just wish that I'll just go and splash the cash. You know, if it was your business, I always say you wouldn't do that. So yeah, no, and it is a great ground. We've even got now fancy flashing advertising boards. We've gone digital, and we have a big screen TV in there. So
just to let you know, Will, I walked into Home Park 44 years ago, mate. Okay, and I had no interest in football whatsoever. Right, I went with a couple of school friends, and I just went for the match experience. It was a 0-0 draw against Southend. I got hooked, and I stayed, and I've been there 44 years, mate. So,
well, there you go. I'll just become like you.
Take a risk, mate.
What was that, sorry?
Are you interested in any other sport?
I like swimming.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, some good swimming in the Olympics recently.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Yeah, no, well, all my friends support Plymouth as well, and they always want me to come to their game. My friend Theo always... Yeah, I don't know. I never want to come.
It would be an interesting £20 investment if you can get to a game because it's generally a sellout. But yeah,
just don't turn up in your speedos, please.
No, that would be a great piece of content for the internet.
But yeah, no, I'll show up. I'll wait. I'll come to a bunch of games and I'll wait. I'll give it a chance. All right, cheers, guys.
You could be the next Tom Taylor.
Appreciate you
just
coming
bring some
on.
knitting.
Cheers, Will.
Yeah.
Cheers, buddy. I'm just going to see if there's any. There was another person. We had Daddy JJ Books who was just on. I've just sent an invite to you. I don't know if Adam Boy's still on, but I'll send that request on there as well. So yeah, if we can get. How many spaces have we got? Not enough. We'll just see if this person connects up. God, yeah, the old memories of going to your first game. Were good, bad, or indifferent?
My first game was, I can't remember, years ago at Colchester 0-0.
I can't even remember mine. To be fair, I wasn't equally interested in football even in my early teenagers. I'm a massive Formula One fan, so that can be equally interesting. But yeah, so I got taken to a game by one of my dad's mates when, sort of Alan Nichols was playing in goal. I think it was that season he had that motorbike accident. Andy will remember. Carl probably won't necessarily remember.
86.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. So
I wasn't even born then.
So was it really 86 when he died? It's got to be later than that.
Oh, do you know it might be 96. It might have been Shilton's era, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was Shilton's era.
I remember being early teenage years.
Yeah, 96.
So,
not 86. I'm that old. I'm older than you, mate. A lot older.
Yeah, Mikey's just said, blast from the past. All I remember, though, was in the old Lindus area, and there was my dad's mate and his son. And I just remember the chant, the Alan Nichols chant, Alan Nichols, sort of a night he'll play for England one day and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, but yeah, sad that was. But
I'm 10 years out, Marcus. Sorry, mate.
What goalkeeper do you think we will sign coming in from? Oh, go on, Blas.
I've got a few that I've seen that we've been linked to. The Bolton keeper, and who I don't think we'll get at least for a few days because he played for Bolton earlier today.
No,
But
did he?
then the Blackpool keeper I've seen is also linked to. He played yesterday when they lost 3 or 4-0 to Stockport.
Yeah, Sean and Rich, who normally.
I wouldn't mind just going in for what's his name? For Carl Rushworth, who was at Swansea last year.
Yeah, no, interesting. Carl, you're sort of good with players from other clubs.
I think Bolton are going to price us well out of the backs to move. I think they want over $3 million, and I can't see us spending $3 million on the keeper. I think the lad at Blackpool, Grimshaw, seems to be the one we're probably going to be leaving to, if I'm honest, and probably that again a cheaper option for us, unless we go down the route of having a loan from a Premier League side. But I think I think at this point, I think everything is kind of leaning towards Grimshaw. If I'm honest, I don't think Rushworth. Yes, he's a good option. I just don't think we'll be able to lure him here. And same goes for what's his name? Is it Sam Tickle at Wigan? Another good prospect, but again, I think we'd be priced out of the move there as well. So. Thinking out of the box, obviously we'll link with that Brazilian keeper. I would like us to go down that route, if I'm honest. If we can kind of have a stab in the dark at getting a foreign keeper in. I mean, it worked with Lariu in the past as well. He seems to have done quite well at his club in Portugal. He's a title winner. He's 29, so he's got experience. Plays out really well from the back, from what I've seen in clips as well. It'd be interesting to see who we bring in next week, though.
That Grimshaw you're talking about, Marcus, right? The second goal that Stockport scored, it was a right howler by Grimshaw, so I really don't want him either.
Every keeper does a howler from time to time.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I think going back to the Baxter 3 million argument, I think there's going to be that point. We did it with the 1 million marker on Mumba and Whittaker, and you sort of wonder whether or not there is going to be that point where we do suddenly go wow when we suddenly see a signing announced, and I think part of this is going to be how much Rooney sort of feeds back to the board on why he feels he needs that keeper or not, or actually, I mean, if you had the choice, if there was one player to buy before the transfer window shuts, would you go for the goalkeeper or the outfield or an outfield player, like an attacking midfielder or creative midfielder, I should say?
Keeper, hands down. Keeper. Keeper. I think in the long run,
I'll say keeper as well. Ideally, a young keeper. If we can't get a young keeper, whatever, just get either a young keeper or older keeper with a bit more experience. I say.
Yeah, no, I think, and MB, I did notice your comment. Carl just replied with a crying out laughter emoji. McCormick did get man of the match. I touched upon that just now. So stranger things have happened, although I do have an issue, and I had an issue when he came back last time after that incident he created, and that doesn't sit well with me.
Talking about McCormick, I think once he retires, I think there could potentially... I would like to see him have a kind of a role at Argyle in some capacity, whether that would be as a goalkeeper, potential future coach maybe, but no, obviously he's not going to come back at the age of, what is he now, 40, 41? That's not going to happen.
What's wrong with that? I'm 44 on Sunday. Do you keep...
Yeah, but
anyway,
can you play
go on, Mikey. What did you want it? No, the shoulders, you can hear it in the joints.
So Mikey, probably slower than Hazard.
Obviously, ideally, we do need another keeper. That's without doubt, and that obviously, and then it would probably look like we'd loan Baker back out to Parkway or get him a few minutes so that he can progress. But I think ideally we need a goalie. Probably looking at the Brazilian keeper, and I think as well as a number 10, I feel like we lack a ball-winning midfielder. So that's the one thing I think the last few years we've lacked. It's like the closest thing we had was Matete a few years ago. But even with him a little bit, he kind of lacked a yellow card. You always had a feeling, but that's what I feel like the last few years we've always lacked is someone just to get stuck in the midfield. We got good players now, obviously Houghton, Randall's obviously a little bit like that, but still Randall's obviously a little bit less physical. I feel like we need a big ball winning midfielder to just get stuck into the midfield. And that's the only thing where I've kind of been... Yeah, go on.
Go on.
Yeah, that's the only kind of other thing where I suppose throughout the summer I've been a little bit worried whether we're saving a bit of money back maybe for January in case, because obviously last year, not that Rooney would go, but obviously just in case we need any things. But I've been kind of a little bit worried that we haven't signed any proven championship players at this level, or players that have been here, done it at this level.
If I can just jump in, Mike.
Go for it, mate.
There's been quite a few rumours on Ollie Norburn, which would be a top signing at this level. Obviously,
I've seen we were linked with him.
Yeah, there's Sheffield United centre midfield. Obviously, he's not there anymore, but he's got quite a few appearances in the Premier League last season, and he did really well for Sheffield United since he's been with them. So I would make him our top target, if I'm honest, in midfield.
Yeah, 100%.
Kind of an upgrade from Forshaw, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Well, and yeah, but Forshaw, he is getting old. But even Tom, I'll bring you in a second. Forshaw is getting old, but he is just like Randall is that sort of like what's the word? He's that aggressive player. He like runs round. He can drive with the ball really well and stuff. But when you watch Forshaw, and like when you do, if you get the time to do that in the next game or whatever, he just. Even if a defender's on him, he'll just dribble it around him. He won't rush. He won't, just kick the ball away. His heading of the ball is superb. So his spreading of the passes and creating the creative play. And also, he does a brilliant job of getting back and defending as well and supporting the defensive line. So for someone that is in the latter stages of his career and was a bit of let's probably be honest, a panic buy under Foster. You can see the quality in that player, but I agree with what Mikey's saying and what you're saying, Carl. Everybody, I think, on every Argyle fan can agree that we do still want that sort of more creative player with a bit more, sort of pace going forward as well. So, Tom, what have you got to bring to the table tonight, mate? Evening.
Yeah, I'm the friend of that Will fan. He said I was a Plymouth fan. And I just didn't appreciate that because I'm actually Torquay.
No.
So,
Fair play.
I was.
So have you not got him to Torquay yet then?
Sorry?
So I said, are you trying to get him on to Torquay then, and others are trying to get him to Plymouth, or what's the deal?
Well, yeah, I tried to, but everyone in my school is Plymouth, so.
Right. So, hey, nothing wrong with being the odd one out, is there? We're not.
What are you doing on with Watton as a manager? Has there been a big improvement? Do you think the club's going to go forward again?
Oh, he's still muted. Don't know if he's. Are you going to answer that, Tom?
Yeah, Tom, do you reckon Torquay going to go forward under Watton and Warnock or not?
Sorry, what did you guys say?
Yeah, we're just talking about Torquay and how you think they're going to do under Paul Watton and with Neil Warnock in the background.
Well, I'm very excited for the future because obviously we'd love to be back in the Football League. And Neil Warnock, I think, is going to be a huge help to that because transfers, like obviously people want to come and be under Warnock and stuff. And obviously having a Plymouth legend as your manager isn't too bad, so...
No,
Joey back in the league as well. Drop Exeter out of the league. Even better.
Yeah. How did they get on yesterday as well? Did they lose?
What's that?
I think they lost
How did
the farm.
Exeter
Lost 2-1, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, good. Yeah, good. We'll take that. Look, Tom, appreciate you coming on, mate, and correcting your mate. Absolutely right to do that. Got a fellow colleague who's a Torquay fan as well. So, up the goals for the future. So, cheers, mate. Anybody else who wants to come? Yeah, cheers, buddy. Anybody else who wants to come in? Just looking at through some of the comments. So, PL1, Josh is saying Callum Wright needs... time, and the more he plays, the better he'll get. Can't sell him, just loan him or sell buyback. Yeah, I don't disagree, but it's going to get tough now. I think everybody knows where Rooney stands after that Wednesday game on Sunday the other week, and you've got to be absolutely on your game. So, and if you're coming on as subs, you've got to do the same, but I think in order for a sub to really have an impact, you've got to be doing it around that 60-minute marker. And, and he came on obviously a bit later into that. So it doesn't really help.
I'm going to have to shoot in a minute, Mike.
The game. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, look, we're just over the hour mark anyway. So if we sort of start to wrap up then in terms of QPR. So Kyle, what's your sort of thoughts then going into that game on Saturday then? What are your expectations?
Expectations, again, with any away game, I'd snatch your hand off with a point. I think a point away from home is always a good result. Anything else is a bonus. Team selection-wise, I think if we do get a keeper in, I think Wayne will stick him straight in. In regard to the number 10 role, again, that's up for discussion. If we bring in a player in time for that or not, then do we go with Bundu, do we go with a Saka or Whittaker? That remains to be seen. I think I wouldn't change the back. I would still keep Edwards in there. I think he's been really impressive, and I still think we need his experience and his knowledge in there. I wouldn't change Galloway or Gibson. Like I said, I think I'd bring maybe Such into midfield alongside Randall, perhaps. Apart from that, I would keep it as it was yesterday.
Yeah, no, good. Andy, what's your thoughts going into and expectations going into that game?
Yeah, I wouldn't change it from Saturday's starting 11, really. I'd have exactly the same 11 start again. Hopefully, as Carl said, get another couple of players in who can go on the bench rather than have, the options of Wayne and Callum Wright. I'm getting tired now as well, you can tell. Expectations, I think we're going to... Do you know what? I think we're going to go and win up there. I think we're going to go up and win. I'll take a 2-1 win to Argyle. There you go. Put my head on the block. Because I think that attacking football we played on Saturday was getting back to what it was like under Schumacher, and I really liked how we played under Schumacher early on last season. So that was very similar. So yeah, I'm going to go for a 2-1 Argyle win. There you go.
Yeah, no, brilliant. And Andy's talked himself out all day today, I think. Likewise, when I was at Heathrow today with the boy and the family, that was good fun. A bit burnt as well, a bit red. But yeah, so Blaz, go on. Your thoughts and expectations for QPR, mate?
I'd like to see a few changes. If we started the keeper before, I'd like to see him start. I think Houghton starts in the midfield. Except from that, no, and Zaka starts for Bundu. Except for that, no changes. Never changes except for that.
Yeah, and your score prediction?
I'll take a draw, but hopefully, I say a 1-0 win.
Yeah, well, we've had a loss, we've had a draw, so the expectation now. So, Mikey boy, what are your thoughts and what are your score predictions?
Difficult one. Like I said, I'll happily take a point now because it's like you kind of go to it as well based on last season as well. Obviously, it's a new year. But you kind of do look at QPR and think they're going to be down there as well. So you kind of look at it and go, it's a must-not-lose game. I'd more or less keep the same squad because obviously we've got a point and you want to build on that as well. You don't want to keep changing the team too much a little bit. You want to try and get them all so everyone knows how each other plays. You got to go there with the intent to win. I feel like though you don't want to invite too much pressure. I'd take a 2-1, something like that. 2-1 or 1-1. I can feel though, unfortunately, we're going to concede, but it's got to go and try and win the game. Don't sit back. I think that's what we've done at Wednesday. We kind of let them. We always do a tactic where we kick the ball up in their half, and then we give them the ball and we invite the pressure.
Yeah.
So just got to try and keep the ball a little bit and not waste it.
So let's say then 2-1, a bit like Andy then, with the thoughts of us conceding being likely. So yeah, that's fine. I think Simon O'Brien 66, who's just commented, sort of saying consistency is the key, and I think that's what I'm going to be looking for, to sort of end our session tonight on, is. I'd like to see, I think Azaka comes into the game. PO1 noted about, sort of not rushing, all the time. He did that, against Cheltenham and got taken off the ball a little bit too easy. And then he came into the game with an unbelievable end to the first half. So, yeah, I think that would be something I would like to see him come on for, say, Bundu. I think I'd keep the rest as it is. Yeah, Edwards, because, just while he's still leading out and setting examples, absolutely right. I wouldn't change a back four. I'd still keep Forshaw in there. I'd probably, Randall or Houghton if you want, maybe a little bit more defensive minded in midfield, I suppose. But I wouldn't, other than the Azaka, then up front, I wouldn't change much else. And I'm going to go for a cheeky 1-0 win. I think they'll be cautious because it will be an away game. So, a little bit like Sheffield Wednesday. And as we've seen, Wednesday lost 4-0 today. So, their first away game. So this league is crazy, as I think someone alluded to in the comments, what a week it's been in the Championship. So, first opening week. So, I'm going to go with 1-0. I think get that sort of duck off Rooney's back as well. And we're not notorious for winning away, but we're into our sort of third, fourth manager now where hopefully that will change. So, thank you, Andy. Thank you, Carl. As always, Blaz, thank you for coming on. Just to give a shout out, as I haven't done it throughout this, but I'll end on it. We do have our Facebook, we do have our X account, we do have our YouTube and also the TikTok at Block9 Podcast is where all of those media channels of ours are. If I can get this downloaded and finalised in time before I head off elsewhere tomorrow while I'm off with the family, I shall get it on YouTube. It will also go up on all your favourite podcast channels. So look, appreciate everybody as always who's liked. Lots of likes tonight. We've just hit over the 13,000 mark, and I'm sure, Blaz, your finger's been at it like crazy again. Thank you as always, and also those who popped in and dropped some gifts in as well. Blaz, equally one of those. So yeah, you'll be able to catch that on those. If you've got friends that listen to or like Argyle, please share the channel. The YouTube one is a good one, or if they're into podcasts, it's just search the Block9 Podcast. You'll find it on all your major channels on there. So and Manchester United, yeah, got another red. Thank you for the gift at the end there. So look, folks, we shall catch you. We might see how the midweek goes. But if not, we shall certainly catch you for our next scheduled Sunday session appointment post QPR. But yeah, thank you everybody for your time.
Have a good one.
Cheers.